Hi, I'm Dodie. I spent 10 years researching and writing about all the subjects I felt had an impact on humanity. Religions, cultures, philosophers, artists, saints, sinners. 92 subjects in all. I guess I could have kept going, but at one point I did feel like I had gotten what I had needed. Very similar to the way it looked like Forrest Gump felt when he knew he was done running. Paradigm shift. But during that decade, I researched the subjects that inspired me, take a lot of notes on those subjects, and from those notes write a poem that fit into the contours of the rhythm of the drum track the piece would be rapped or recited over. That's what I did. Drums and words. That's how it all started. The slow progression of becoming. And still going, until it doesn't, I guess. This is one of the early ones about the Druids. I went esoteric early. This one's called The Red Dragon. Yeah, I gotta do this. I gotta do my computer thing. Live band would be better.
The oak that grows in the sacred ground bridges the spaces that lie still within the astral mist and the realm of the wind and sea, ruled eternally by the pearl moon's pale, savage mystery. To know, to dare, to keep silent. The proper path is easy to choose. It is the one which confirms within you the truth you have always known, the truth against the world, where all music is but a faint and unbroken echo that calls us in the wind of dawn. To know, to dare, to keep silent. They knocked upon the third door on the sixth day of the moon, when all that is forbidden is revealed under the hanging stones. A deafening sound echoed deep within the dragon's soul, opening the doorways to the elemental worlds. Mystic power dwelt within the precepts of the symbols, tracing figures dark and silent on the sands of alien keys. Out of a timeless world, shadows fall upon the future, whose waters flow within like a bridge across the great divide. Like so many other things in the world of the 12 signs, what might at first appear to be an obstacle is often a gateway to the secret resting place of the sun, where the many are but a reflection of the one. To know, to dare, to keep silent. On the path of knowledge, one must learn to fall if one would fly. When men are terrified, children are only curious. It is difficult to frighten those who are easily astonished. Remember, fear is the beginning of all wisdom. To know, to dare, to keep silent. From the point of greatest weakness comes the point of greatest strength. Even within the most savage heart, anger yields to wisdom. Primal mystics built the 12-star houses among the stones, calling forth the three rays with the joint memory of the ancients. First the sound of horns that echo thunder between the dolems. Then the will of God awakens deep within the heart of man. Once the truth is recognized, his laws become a river, flowing through the timeless world since the beginning of time. Blue star on a green field circling upward to a blood-red sun. Who can see the wind to stop the wheel of the seasons? To the north an altar of cold stone, to the south a fiery oak. Golden pipes to the east and then the dark western waters. Relinquishing control is the challenge for the warrior. For one who has learned to obey will know how to command. The dragon must believe, for belief imparts reality and commands the cycles of tide and time, washing back to shore. in confusion, quiet all thought, wait for an answer in terms of abstraction. When all choices are taken away, the perfect path remains. That path lies beyond the absence of opposites and leads to the music within. To know, to dare, to keep silent. To earn the sacred blue sky, action must follow thought, and judgment must follow action. For what use could a few brief years of a single lifetime be to the task of perfecting the soul? In the face of the sun, the eye of truth that sees beyond the great spiral of nature into the heart of the forest. It is there that the dragon lives between form and force. It is there that the dragon submits. Thou shalt not disfigure the soul.
I learned a few important universal truths composing energy. That's the title of the collected work. Things like monotheism, good and evil, the instinct for survival, basic human nature, love. If you're willing to open yourself up to a broader perspective, the idea of our shared humanity, that kind of thinking transcends the day-to-day. That's some serious stopping to smell the roses kind of shit, man, thinking about love and harmony. And I thought the best way to share that idea would be to read the pieces I wrote that were inspired by the 5 major world religions, not in any preachy or dogmatic way. These were all written knowing they were going to be rapped or recited over a pretty wild drum track. But even through that filter, you can see for yourself how when they're boiled down to their essences, a poetic representation, they emanate from very similar places. Now, there are a lot more belief systems than Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. The Druids, for instance, or Rastafari. But let's see if the 5 faiths can't tell the story of our shared humanity, our unity. And what better way to start than with the love that Mother Teresa radiated? Let's start with that and see where it goes from there. This piece is called Missionary of Charity. How can you truly know the poor unless you live with them? If they complain about the food, we can say we eat the same. Poverty is a wonderful gift because it gives us freedom. It means we have fewer obstacles to God. The poor are the ones who have nothing to prove or protect. When all you've got is all you've got, all that's left is to be yourself. That's why the poor are blessed, because they know what really matters. In the poor, we serve Jesus. We nurse him, feed him, clothe him, visit him, as the truth to be told, as the life to be lived, as the peace to be spread, as the sacrifice to be offered. If you don't believe in God, you can help others by doing works of love. The fruit of these works are the extra graces that come into your soul. Always share with others, because even with a little help, you can bring joy into their hearts. And don't take more than you need. Just accept whatever comes. Take time to think, take time to pray, take time to laugh. It's the source of power. Take time to play, take time to love, take time to give. It is the secret of perpetual youth. Take time to read, take time to be friendly, take time to work. It is the fountain of wisdom. Take time to forgive. By forgiving, we are forgiven. Take time to do charity. It is the key to heaven. It is not how much we do, but how much love we put in the doing. We don't need to look for happiness. If we have love for others, we will be given it. The success of love is in the loving. All acts of love are prayer. Love is a gift from God. Love till it hurts. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service is peace. With faith in our heart and prayer on our lips, we take the simple path. Mary, Mother of God, give me your heart. So beautiful, so pure, so immaculate, so full of love and humility. overflowing with God's grace, that I may be able to receive him in the bread of life, to serve him in the distressing disguise of the poorest of the poor. He is the head of our house. The church is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, God says, "You are precious to me and I love you." A love for us that is greater than all conflicts which will pass. Love God, serve God. People are unreasonable, illogical, self-centered. Love them anyway. The good you do will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. What you spent years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People in need may attack you if you help them. Help them anyway. Give the world the best you've got. There are very few of the original drum and words pieces that are in any condition for popular consumption. A few, like the Druids, but most exist just as the poem, with the original recording relegated to the island and misfit almost songs. But a few actually became songs. I try to infuse the music with the essence of the poem. It's already written. See if I can get a song out of it. 2 for the price of 1. Start reading the words over the music, and if they seem like they could work as lyrics, the whole thing should work, hopefully. This is the musical version of Missionary of Charity.
Love them anyway. Good you do will be forgotten. Good anyway. What you spent years building may be destroyed. Build anyway. People in need may attack you if you help them. Help them anyway. Give the world the best you
The next piece on our journey through comparative humanity is my version of a Sufi poem. And for those of you who don't know, Sufism is the mystical sect of Islam. And like the mystical sect of any religion, it's a way to commune with God more directly than simple prayer or ritual allows, transcend the limitations. The way Tibetan monks explore the inner reality by chanting the primal mantra, or Kabbalists navigate the 10 Sephiroth, the 10 worlds, getting a glimpse behind the mirror. Or whirling dervishes go into a religious trance through their whirling, supported by the 5 pillars of Islam. This piece is called The Horizon Off Canvas.
They found the body of the merchant in the desert, crushed under the weight of the gold he stole from his neighbors, who trusted the words of a liar and the promise of a future where nothing exists absolutely, but ignorant assumptions and primitive patterns of emotions and reactions to the stabbing summons to a misguided life filled with wheels within wheels that keep spinning around for the rest of time among the fallen buildings laid to waste by everyone seeking their own advantage without knowledge of the horizon off canvas where the paint is mixed that colors the world with truth and deception, and the music of the grieving reed flute telling stories of its separations with songs of the spheres sung by eternal voices who became perfect reflections of the beloved light that shattered heaven's roof, illuminating the path of the falcon returning to the celestial hunter who translated the wind into 1,000 metaphors, each a reality without a name, like an inaccessible pearl laying at the bottom of the meeting place of the 7 rivers by the lotus of the farthest edge, where the tall cypress echoes the commanding stature of the infinite will, extending without end through the inner reality behind the illusion of the secret of the lovers, who cursed the deep thought so often to be their friend, who jumped into the river to get away from the rain because he loved the water more and the pitcher less than the inner light of truth that shines through the pillars of the world, supporting those who inhabit the height of the universe, where various transformations and combinations of the letters and the names constitute a mysterious knowledge of the inwardness of creation and the absolute perfection in which there is no distinction between the messenger and the message blown by the whispering wind through the valley of the seeker, who knows that if the dust was not there, his shoes would not raise it, as he searches for the unity revealed by the prophet during the 92 seasons of enlightenment that divided the twin divine attributes of grace and wrath into the world of unification and the world of separation, where the names of vengeance infect the stranger's heart with fear, as truth reaches him from the imperial sphere floating behind the mirror, reflecting the essential identity of a lost soul whose struggles cling to him like a flame that enshrouds a cypress burning in the garden since the day after the world was created until the night of the 7 secrets, when those kneeling at the door of the beloved, owned by nothing, owning nothing, walk with the spirit of the saints along the inner approach to the hall of the patriarch, where the warrior embraces the children of the jihad who must learn to serve themselves best by not trying things out of right harmony, causing discord throughout the radiant universe, blessed by the falcon, prophet, noble, giver, whose love is a spring whose waters never fail as they flow with the static equilibrium of a crystal through eternity now, returning to the source of the true faith on the wings of the ministering angels withdrawn from involvement in the world, where the wayward mystic believes haste is speed as he travels from premature action to wild assumption, from despair to insufficient remedy, from carelessness to derision, from obedience to humility, to the knowledge that he must always think about the end before beginning to harmonize thought with faith, as though faith were a simple garment of coarse wool to be worn by the impatient, and then traded for a few gold coins to the fallen prince, dressed as a wandering rustic, offering today for tomorrow with a supplicant's humility. The goal of all is one. The moon receives its light from the sun. We are all composed of the two lights. We are in the world, are we not?
I mentioned before about Kabbalists navigating the 10 Sphirot, the 10 worlds. And this next piece represents what I was able to understand about Kabbalah, the mystical wing of Judaism, a lifelong pursuit I spent a few months trying to internalize. But because I had spent time in that mystical realm with the other faiths, I had a beginner's and novitiate sense of its depth, even if I didn't come anywhere near getting close to it. But that didn't stop me from fantasizing about maybe, just maybe, I cracked the code. Maybe what I had written was written in such a way, the ordained way, because you have to understand, Kabbalah is about words and symbols and combinations of words and symbols, and that kind of mystical thinking got me wondering. Maybe what I had written would cause the 10 Sphirot, the 10 worlds, to come into alignment, opening up a portal at the end of which God would be waiting to bestow enlightenment upon me. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. But as a consolation prize, this happened. It's called Secret of the Word. From the primal fire through a hole in the sky, fiery letters in the twinkle of an eye, the thoughtful light, the root of Cain, all is connected by the unbroken chain. The first cause has no providence, preparing the way for innocence. Like a grain that dies in the earth brings forth the fruit of redemption. From the secret tree where the soul is set free, like the rivers of Eden flowing to the sea. The inner light, the righteous one, a vision of all the generations to come. Mystery of the unity, the meaning of the prophecy, every act of creation in the beginning sealed with the name of God. Those who know grace, those who know measure, three bonds of faith, those who have entered. Those who are righteous, those who seek wisdom, the symbols of freedom, the infinite kingdom. The mirror that shines, which is concealed, reveals truth that is perfect, the first effect, the key to heaven in dynamic interplay. The second light was passive and immersed in the depths of revelation, creation, as if one candle can illuminate the way. All the words that are formed from a common sound, coming from a sphere where judgment is found. The light is sown for the righteous one who broke the vessel before the world had begun. The thought ascends to its origin, the soul of Adam scattered with first sin. The dream includes illusion and truth, and the word rules over all. Those who know love, those who know mercy, the reigns in their season, the throne of glory. Eternal battle between wisdom and the curse. Letters of creation spell the universe. Return a man to the fire of his soul like a flame enshrouds a burning coal. Walk through the mountains of darkness. Dance in the palaces of silence. What is an eagle that nests in a tree in a world that never was? The level of Gabriel appointed over dreams. 7 shepherds guide their flocks to the mystic streams. A generation sows, another reaps the field. On the day of judgment, all will be revealed. The processions of the substance, a return of all things to their essence, coming from a sphere where judgment is found, are the revelations of Elijah. The world of confusion, the world of restitution, the mystery of creation, the secret of the word. One who was drawn out of water has no fear of fire, desire, the restoration of the universe to its original design. Three colors appear but are overshadowed by the Zohar of the sky. Try and understand the secret of thoughts divine. Those who show justice, those who receive, a sign from the masters, a time to believe. For when he left this world, Isaiah heard the angels cry. One generation passes and another is born. A long chain of activities that prepare eternity, a unity, a gathering of all the sparks created by the one. The world of separation, the world of unification, the mystery of creation, the secret of the word. Even though God didn't get in touch with me and invite me to his Thursday night poker game, I was able to translate that poem into a song. And second consolation prize, all part of the slow progression of becoming, and still going, still evolving from drums and words to harmony and melody. This is the song that poem evolved into. One of the most revealing things I learned composing energy was that God and Allah are the same. The Bible and the Quran are based on exactly the same thing. They just call God Allah. God is Allah. Allah is God. It's the same evolution of faith. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Allah is the God of Abraham. Moses brought the law. Jesus brought the blessing. Muhammad brought the revelation. And if you keep going, you learn that that same universal vibration that we call God or Allah, in Hinduism they call Brahman. All gods of Hinduism are manifestations of Brahman, the supreme. And just like there are 10 commandments and 5 pillars of Islam, there are 4 proper goals of Hinduism. And you achieve those proper goals by the eternal duties: honesty, respect for life, all life, compassion, mindfulness, self-reliance. Sound familiar? This next piece was inspired by that mystical Hindu guru, Sri Aurobindo. It's called Thus Did Krishna. Everything in accordance with the design the One had self-seen, and by seeing established for our evolutionary world. And the Word was with the One, and the Word is sound, and sound is vibration, and vibration the realization and the unbounded all. The basis of creation and all eternity of the primal mantras worshipped by the children of man under 1,000 names, by those names shaping and measuring the force of the Mahashakti, the one force, a crown of 12 pearls, ultimately evolving into physical reality. Every force a consciousness, every consciousness a being, carrying all that has grown in the past with the impulse toward perfection, a self-revelation of the divine, a return to the light emanating from the mind of Brahman. Thus did Krishna, the song of truth upon cosmic vibrations, a story with neither beginning nor end, moving between 2 infinities, carrying on the evolution, one in front of the immemorial quest into the province of ephemeral sight, covering the all-wise who leads the unseeing world, abolishing the scripts of destiny, drawing out of the one its hidden multitudes, all the long labor of nature, ending in a crowning justification. Om Mani Padme Om. Om Mani Padme Om. Om Mani Padme Om. Om Mani Padme Om. From the kindled fire of the energy of consciousness, the law of truth was born. From the truth, the night, the ocean of being that flows into eternity. From the ocean, time was born, to whom is subjected every living creature, to return to God and the soul of man in the universe. For the soul of man is greater than his fate. And life is an evolution, and the soul grows by experience. All our misery and ignorance from our divided consciousness, each point of division symbolizing an inner movement there in the world of subtle correspondences, to be united through surrender to the supramental yoga, to join. There waiting its hours, the future lay unknown. There in the record of the vanishing stars. There in the slumber of the cosmic will, the avatar saw the secret key of nature's change. He knew the price of celestial gain, that one must be able to synthesize all. We must go beyond the intellect to penetrate the mystery. To conquer death, one must be ready to go through death, accept suffering, to transform suffering into the joy of union with the Supreme. The eternal is true, and truth is hidden behind the golden veil of Maya. Sit still and try to make your mind quiet and empty of thoughts. You'll see that all your thoughts come from the outside. As you perceive them, simply throw them away. Breathe in. Breathe out. Fill your mind with light. I mentioned before about evolving from drums and words to harmony and melody. And that's all part of the slow progression of becoming. And I'm not kidding about slow. It wasn't until I was 50 years old that I realized that I can get a bass line over my drum tracks. I realized I could sing the bass line. I mean, I could hear a basic bass line that should go with my rhythms. Then I'd record what I sang and replace what I sang with actual bass notes played from the keyboard that I bought specifically for that purpose. And once I had that, I had the rhythm section. And when you have the rhythm section, the song is in there. Just like sculptors talk about the image being inside the block of stone, all you have to do is just draw it out. And it wasn't until I was 59 years old that I realized that I could add additional musical elements, more melodic and harmonic elements, using the same method that I did to get the bass line done, adding a lot more meat to the bones of the song. Now for me, meat should always be guitar. I'm a child of rock and roll. But even though all I had were string sections and choral patches, at least that allowed me to hear the song, and that kept me going, hoping that one day I'll be playing these songs with a band, even at my age and gray hair. Reminds me of a story that George Carlin told about the great cellist Pablo Casals, who when he was 90 was asked by an interviewer why he continues to practice 3 hours a day, and Pablo Casals said, because he's finally starting to see some improvement. This is the song version of Thus Did Krishna. Just like there are 10 commandments and 5 pillars of Islam and 4 propagandas of Hinduism, there are 5 precepts of Buddhism. No killing, no lying, no stealing, no harmful use of the senses, and no intoxicants, which may be keeping me out of Buddha heaven because I plan on doing a shot and a beer later tonight. But completely different cultures over enormous swaths of humanity across millennia. So you tell me how we're different. But I'm going to represent Buddhism a little differently. And that's because the piece I wrote about the father and daughter escaping into exile right behind the Dalai Lama in 1959 because the mother was killed in a temple bombing is eerily similar to exactly what's happening in Ukraine right now. The continuum of humanity as manifested in good and evil. This piece is called Following the White Lotus. Calm for a while, then it happened. Shadows across the mountains. Time to go. I don't know. Come on. May Lord Buddha have mercy on us. Father and daughter made their way across the valley, holding to the shadows. The potential for trouble was everywhere, and they'd already seen too much. First, the roaring tiger was being held against her will, and the weight of history came crashing down. He quickly learned to avoid a past that had devolved into suicide. First, principles of survival, food and adaptation, and a good safe place to hide. Why, said the daughter, 9 years old. Because we have to take care of each other, he said, his strength forged by desperation. I'll know where we're going when we get there, and we'll get there, I promise. I know, but sometimes I know. But just remember, we are bringing the light. The names of Providence reflecting essential identity, the will, the thoughts of a father who's traveled from hopelessness to wild assumption. They watched the holder of the White Lotus assume the lion throne, and then the lights from the northeast, a portent of terrible things to come. War. The storm had broken under the lie of revolution against those for whom killing anything was forbidden, an army 100 times deeper and more inhumane, who would sacrifice for a false promise their own children, who forced the ordained to break their vows in public, unspeakable crimes in the name of liberation. And then the raid in the temple, and they took her from us. Then the White Lotus escaped into the mist because it was wiser to live in exile than to die for someone else's sin. For gods will lie when they too become desperate. And the oracle proclaimed the time had come through a pass at the top of the world, a dangerous journey toward an uncertain freedom. We followed. What's that, Daddy? Thunder, go to sleep. The sound of artillery barrages at night. Are we going to make it across the border? If we don't, who's going to bring the light? We're going to bring the light. And the freedom fighters will learn from the enemy. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. As long as he held on, she would rest easy. Quiet, he said, do your breathing exercises. He prayed the enemy had moved on. I'd die 1,000 deaths before I'd let anything happen to her. Beyond that, there was only the here and now. 7 weeks of struggle to survive. The snows in the mountain passes higher than the peaks. We commune with her in silent meditation, the inner reality of which the Buddha speaks. And then where the White Lotus was safe, a ray of light in the darkness, a prayer for survival. May Lord Buddha continue to watch over us. And so he did. How could we not want a world the Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa hoped we'd evolve into, that Lincoln and Gandhi hoped we'd evolve into? The Dalai Lama talks about the Eightfold Path, right thinking, speaking, acting, be here now, love yourself, eat right, exercise, take care of yourself, have fun, give back, rock.
was held against the will, and the weight of history came crashing down. Why says the daughter 9 years old? Because the lion throne has been abandoned. Why notice on the road? Loud out of love did we follow. Lotus reflections on the way. Revolution. Chain legs are wrapped around our fingers. Freedom doesn't bring back What's that, Daddy? Thunder go to sleep. The sound of artillery barrages at night. Crimes in the name of liberation. Why love is sent to the and the struggle for survival.
For me, it's all about Deuteronomy, the book of Mark, the Tao, rock and roll, the inner reality, the cosmic reality, and living in the world. So many different paths towards liberation. As many paths as there are people to follow them. 10 Commandments, 5 pillars, 4 proper goals, 5 precepts. The early Mesoamericans, the Toltec, had 4 agreements. The Druids, 3 attainments: to know, to dare, to keep silent, which clearly disqualifies me from becoming a Druid. Martin Luther posted his 95 Theses on the church wall. The Eskimos glided their walrus-skin canoes through the frozen stillness. The Vikings ruled the seas and blended into society. We're here now. For most of us, the days of our present go by one. Wake up in the morning and your life is happening. How do you make it a good life? Ain't that the point? This next piece is kind of my story. It's called 3 Photographs.
Photograph in 3 positions, top of conga, djembe from that ancient shame of Blade and Brookman Squire. Rhythm runs like staggering in Central Park that very day, and that night in the village of the Brotherhood on fire. Sounding sweating, letting go of everything. Rhythm of the angels when the choir starts to sing. New York Central sheltered way, lonely, slowly melting. Boundaries dissolving, and the drummers kept on drumming. Drumming in the 5th dimension, deep inside the city. Upon the energy of everybody. The rhythm sounding alive in me, like it was meant to be. Take the djembe home and use it well. Morning breaking over New York and the drumming circle, and the years in transformation. Imagination at the deepest level. And praying and going with eyes closed all those years ago, 32. Playing with Naranda and Lal Singh in the window of the star of Kathmandu. The only levee to have made the sound. 6th Street where they serve you underground. Lost inside the Tintal with my cobbler brother Lal while the Serrod spread the melody around. Drumming is a way of life, growing, flowing, going to the studio to justify the day. 1,000 reasons to escape the weight of limitation. Let imagination play the pain away. Pain transforming into energy. Energy becoming destiny. Destiny, another word like sacrificing someday, and maybe it will, but who can say? One thing that seems relatively true. Pulling into Main Street looking for a rhyme. What else was I ever meant to do? All roads leading to this point in time. Tabla, conga, djembe, 3 photographs. Music made by a desperate man. Sunlight, rhythm, shadows, everything. Purify my soul if I can. All those years ago on a magic night in Chelsea, and the music of the world filled the city. Overtime and a calling and obsession forged by insecurity. The many become one, the moon receives its light from the sun. I am made from the 2 lights, and the rhythms that flow among eternities, that rest above the echoes waiting for a song. Could be anything. Choir starts to sing the sound of drumming of creation. Listened and I heard music in the word. Beethoven to bird, my inspiration. Writing underground, searching for a sound. No one around but my shadow. Working on this song, right where I belong. history of dreams and insecurity and work and some ability. It's all about the journey I'm still on. Fixed ideas of center and boundary dissolve. Slowly growing slowly as the planets revolve. Swinging from a rainbow wild and free. It's all about the journey.
One last thing about the slow progression of becoming. The reason I knew I had to evolve as a musician when I was 50 years old because of a one-man show I did that I thought was okay until I asked an old girlfriend who happened to be in the audience what she thought, and by the look on her face, I knew it wasn't good. And then when she said, "Where was the melody?" I got it. I had done my drums and words thing. Karaoke, not even with a live band. Just me singing and rapping to playback like some weird unprofessional beat poetry thing. Not that I stayed bummed out that I did that show. You have to start somewhere. That was the first time I had done anything like that. And that led to me buying my keyboard, which led to me asking a serious guitarist who just happens to live in my town if he would consider putting guitar on one of my songs. And after hearing the bass, drums, and words version, he did. From that point on, I knew to just keep going, keep evolving. This is that song. It's called Antique Heroes. This last piece was inspired by that great American writer, artist, philosopher, Dr. Seuss, who helped guide some of our first steps toward a better world. This piece is called Professor Goose. There was a time not long ago when the sky seemed white, but not fun white like snow, and the trees seemed gray and the flowers pale, and even the boozles and muffins seemed stale. And the sun cast sun shadows, but the shadows seemed slow, sometimes not bothering to come when you go. And the people were taught not to question or doubt. We know, said the theys, what we're talking about. We've done this before and we'll do it again. That's why we can judge our unfellow men. We know what is good, we know what is right. Why question or doubt? Why put up a fight? Did Jane question Dick when he told her what's what? No, those were the rules, like it or not. The theys were the theys and would always be there, for they had their ways and we wouldn't dare. And so it was, and so it would be. How could it not? Who'd disagree? Like a white sky or like a gray tree? If it is, then it is, just like you and me. And then from the north, or maybe the east, or possibly south, from somewhere at least, a very tall man appeared high on a hill. And when he came down, he appeared taller still. Where did you come from? Asked Zoe Michel. She looked straight at the man. She was smart, he could tell. I come from the fields that grow tall in the spring, where the dogs love to bark and the birds love to sing. I've just come from there on my way to the beach. I've heard it's quite far, not easy to reach. Perhaps you could tell me the best way to go. You look rather smart, I'm sure you would know. I wish I could help. I wish I could go. But the theys have their rules, and I'm sure they'd say no. I'm sorry I don't have more I could tell. What's your name, by the way? My name's Zoe Michel. Professor Goose, the only and one. And who are these theys that won't let you have fun? The theys are the theys, and have always been here. They make the rules, that's perfectly clear. And fun, the they say, is so unnecessary. Better to work in the they factory, or go to the they school and learn the they way, so that we may all work for the theys someday. I see, said Professor Goose. Would you know where these theys might be found? I'd like to go there. Just down the road and bear to your right. You'll come to a gate that's locked day and night. No one goes out and no one comes in. And that's the way it has always been. Listen to me, dear Zoe Michel, although you don't know me, at least not very well. There'll always be theys, because that's who theys are. They think that they're better and smarter by far. I promise you're as good and as smart as they. You don't have to agree with all that they say. Make up your own mind. Know what's right. Right's in your heart and the way day follows night. Strive for perfection and follow your dreams, and listen to wisdom and dance on moonbeams. Nothing is easy, that may be true. It doesn't matter. What matters is you. Now go back inside, Zoe, and remember, Professor Goose loves you. The days of the days are changing, as all things always do. And down the road and to the right until Zoe was out of sight, and farther still and getting late, when Professor Goose came to a gate. And the gate was locked and there was no bell, at least as far as Professor Goose could tell. And behind the gate, a house of stone. Whoever lived there wanted to be left alone. Thought Professor Goose, I wonder if they'd mind. And he climbed over the gate to see what he could find. And the door was locked and the sky was gray. The professor knocked. Go away! What? Thought Professor Goose. Just go away? Is that what I heard? Is that what they say? Excuse me, said Professor Goose, knocking again. A few word, perhaps. If not now, then when? You can come by tomorrow and we'll tell you the same. Professor Goose knew how to play the they game. Well, if you don't want the gift I brought for you, then I'll be on my way and I'll bid you adieu. A gift, did you say? That's different. That's good. And the door was unlocked and there the they stood. Come right this way. My goodness, you're tall. Tell us your name and the gift most of all. Professor Goose, and you must be theys. I can tell by your clothes. I can tell by your ways. Yes, we are the theys, and have always been thus. Now please let us see what you have brought for us. Is it a pony? Is it a sled? Is it a Game Boy? Another they said. It isn't a pony, a pet, or a toy. It is something, however, that will bring you joy. But first I must ask, because it seems pretty clear, when was the last time you got out of here? To walk in the sun or go for a swim? The air is so stuffy and the lighting so dim. No wonder the dark cloud over the town. The way that you live trickles all the way down. That may be true, said the Theys in defense, and to you I'm sure our ways make little sense. But you try to run things and have them run right, with everybody wanting what they may or they might. It's never enough. They always want more. So we built a stone house and locked the door. That's not the answer, and you know that too. Then tell us, Professor, what would you do? I'd let everyone know that you care what they say, and give everyone time to think, laugh, and play, and time to accept and to work and forgive. Let all things have time. That's how to live. I mean no offense, and I could be wrong, but it seems the Theys have been inside too long. The people won't bite you. In fact, I'd say they'd welcome the change. I bet they'd scream hooray. Now let's go outside and get some fresh air and tell all the people the Theys really care. Everyone benefits. Everyone wins. The old days are over. A new day begins. Yes, yes, said the Theys. All you said makes some sense, and we know that in saying you meant no offense. I guess we can give time for all you suggest, for thinking and playing, for all the rest, for reading and friendship, acceptance and love. But what of the gift for us you've spoken of? Ah, yes, the gift, which comes word upon word, all which you know, all which you've heard, but put them together in a special way, and they create something bigger than they. Professor Goose then told the tale of a little boy with shovel and pail who went to the beach and started to dig until his hole became so big that soon he was unable to climb out, and he stood in the hole and began to shout. But the hole was so deep that no one heard. Not one single shout, not one single word. What can I do, thought the boy, looking around. There must be a way to get back above ground. He tried to climb out, but the walls would just crumble. Then back in the hole did he toss and tumble. Just then the boy remembered a tale of an innocent man who was put in jail. But he built a tunnel and tunneled his way out. That's what I'll do, said the boy with a shout. I'll dig a tunnel down to the sea, or at least the sea will be right over me. And then I'll dig up until the water breaks through. Then I'll swim to the surface. That's what I'll do. And that's what he did. He tunneled down to the sea, and he swam to the surface, and he was free. And he rode a big wave right back to shore, right back to the place where he was before. I'll fill in the hole, he thought, so no one falls in. Then his mother walked over. Where have you been? Just digging, and I went swimming a while. And I escaped from jail, he thought with a smile. Well, you'd think the Theys had heard the funniest story ever told. We haven't laughed like that, they said, since the days of old. Professor Goose, we must say and will long recall, the gift of laughter is one of the greatest gifts of all. Now please, let's go outside. It's been far too long. We admit and do regret that we have been so wrong. From now on, there'll be time to think and laugh, just like you say, and time to work and to accept, and much more time to play. We hope the town forgives us. We hope the people see the days of Theys are changing. We hope we'll all be we. You will, said Professor Goose, opening the door and stepping through, noticing the setting sun and the sky so blue. The first step is the hardest and starts right here and now. And as the Wees stepped outside, their whole world changed somehow. The leaves upon the trees turned green, and the flowers, well, what a display! And the scent of fresh boozles and muffins could be smelled from far away. Just remember, said the professor, realizing it was late, every day is a new world which you can create. Now it's time for me to go. A pleasure it has been. Likewise, said the Wees, we hope you'll visit us again. It isn't every day a stranger helps by being heard. We cherish everything you said, every single word. Back up the hill Professor Goose climbed as day turned into night, and not too far from where he was, a most wonderful sight. Zoe Michelle was looking up, trying to touch the sky, a smile as bright as sunshine, and Professor Goose knew why. Professor Goose, I can't believe it's true. Did you see the tree so green and the sky so blue? And the flowers are so beautiful and everyone wears a smile. And the bakers are baking fresh boozles and muffins that'll be ready in a little while. Yes, my darling Zoe, I saw all those wondrous things. Just remember, you determine what tomorrow brings. But now it's time to go inside. The hour's getting late. Tomorrow is another day and surely worth the wait. And one more thing before good night. Could you let me know the best way I may reach the beach? For to the beach I'd love to go. Oh, sure, it's just down the hill, said Zoe Michelle. This time go left and keep going until the wishing well. Make sure that you make a wish, for wishes can come true, and then keep going and the beach will appear right in front of you. And pardon me, Professor Goose, but what about a hat? The sun tomorrow will be very hot. You must at least wear that. Yes, I know, you're very right. So kind of you to say. And now it's time to say goodnight, for I must be on my way. Take care of yourself, Zoe, and know I'll always think of you. You do the same, Professor Goose. I'll be thinking of you, too. And Zoe made her way inside, her day-a-day complete, and Professor Goose went down the road. Who else might he meet? And if he should, would they be good like Zoe Michelle? One could only hope, he thought, and only time would tell. And where's the wishing well Zoe mentioned? A wish I'd like to make. Oh, that must be it over there. How many pennies does it take? How many pennies do I have? Let's see. Oh, here we are. 1, 2, 3. Oh, good. I think I found one more. Now let's just think what I'll wish for. I wish happiness and health for you.